I'm a short guy and I'm chunky, right? So it's 5'6.5", 5'7", and I was pushing like 250. Like I was tired. I was getting poor sleep. So it was really just not eating the right stuff, extremely overweight.
What would you say were like the biggest unlocks for you and what made it, more sustainable, got these results coming along?
The first couple of weeks, you're like going to the gym and feeling out of place. And now I at least in my eyes, I feel like a pro. This thing has gotten me thinking about the overall, man. Like, I just want to be healthy. I want to be around for the kids. I want to do stuff. And when they get older, I don't want to be that guy in oxygen, and I want to be hanging. So
100%. Dave, what's going on, my man? I appreciate you hopping on with me today. I would love if you could just kind of kick it off by just telling us a little bit about who you are. Tell us a little bit about what you do for work, family life, where you live, all that good stuff.
Yeah, no, man. Well, it's good seeing you. Always enjoy talking to you, man. So, yeah, Dave Russo, right? That's me. 50 years old, wife, 2 teenage daughters. Work on the commercial insurance side of the business as a manager, account executive. Really responsible for high level relationships, making sure the team's doing well, growth, etc. So, doing that for about 27 years now.
How about like work, family? Does that kind of cause, I don't want to say issues, family causing issues?
Yeah.
Does it kind of pose some obstacles, some things you need to kind of think about a little bit more? Or is it more so just that culture? Does the work show up at all?
Yeah, no. I mean, so the work is picking up, right? So there's days you can get sucked in, go check in at 7 a.m. and actually know it's noon, forgot breakfast or whatever.
Me too.
So there's always that with everybody where you just dive in too much. Family with 2 teenage daughters, you're constantly running around, right? Different activities, sports. That's where I think just discipline has to come in. Like, you have to do it. I think for me, using the chronometer and using the, just recording all your food at first. And I still do it. I mean, it's been almost 4 months in now. And I still religious, man, down to oil, spices, just because that keeps me on track. So that if I do know by 5 o'clock, if we're going to dinner, this is where I stand, both at all the macros, with your proteins, your carbs, etc. So I know exactly where I need to be, where I can push, where I can't. But I'll be honest with you, man, after a couple months, if you keep the discipline, logging in and everything else, it starts to become like second nature. It becomes a lot quicker than I thought,
And how many minutes a day does it take you now?
I got all my stuff in favorites. If I do modify a meal, I put that as a favorite meal in. So I categorize it. So honestly, a minute for breakfast, a minute for lunch, and a minute for, not much, right? Because like tonight I'm having, chicken bowl, this or that. I just go into my favorites. It's already there. And maybe I'll go heavy on carbs, later on carbs, heavy on protein, so that, by the end of the week, usually like Saturday, Friday, I do like an overall run to kind of see where I'm at for the week. And that kind of lets you know as well. So it's not just daily, it's also keeping track in the week.
You're dropping the game on nutrition right now, Dave. Come on.
Yeah, I know, man. It's your learning stuff and it's everything else, man. It works.
It's sauce. Awesome, man. And with the nutrition, how it's become a little bit more automatic for you, have you noticed all the habits, like, the training, the steps, maybe the sleep for you, has that become more automatic as you go on? Is it less like, oh, I need a white knuckle in discipline, to the point where it's like, this is just becoming part of who you are?
Yeah. 4 months in, it's just, that it's becoming part of it. The first month or two for me was all about tracking, right? It was discipline. It's like, cause I get lazy, man. Listen, I'm sure I'm 5'6.5", 5'7", right? I weigh a lot. I got lazy. I'd eat late at night. I was sleeping horribly. My energy was low. That discipline of logging that's just food. But steps, I wear my Fitbit. I stopped wearing the Apple Watch just because I was getting dings and pings. And
I agree. Yeah, so I switched the Oura around.
I went, very basic, so I'm not distracted. It looks at 4 or 5 key,
exactly,
steps, etc.
Main ones.
And I have a thing now. When I get up in the morning and walk the dog, I know that I'm going to hit 2,500 steps between like 7 and 9. I know if I hit the gym at 12 to 1:30 or whatever it may be, I'm going to hit another 3 or 4. So after that first month or two of being really diligent with tracking steps, nutrition, workouts, even like when I worked out, I would do a set, I log it, do another set, log it. Now it's like, okay, I know the weight, I know the time period of rest between each of the workouts. So like every time I shift a workout, I can log it in. But you just find that you have to be extreme. For me, I had to be extremely disciplined for that first month or two. You build
No,
repetition.
that lines up with the literature, like 60 days typically to build a strong habit. And then after that, I don't want to say it's easy because, you still got to plan ahead. You still got to put in the effort, but it's definitely not as hard, I'd say.
No, God, no. And the thing I'll add too is the prep, right? So if I know like this week, which I don't, but like next week, I have an extremely crazy week, travel for work, kid stuff. On Sunday night, when I'm making dinner with the family, I just make a bunch of other stuff while I'm doing that, right? I'll make extra steak, extra this, extra that.
Makes it so easy.
Yeah. Same with steps, man. If I know we have a long drive, I'll say, okay, we'll stop here. I'll get 1,000 steps in, or we'll do this, or like during her break, between sets or whatever, I'll walk around. So you just have to plan.
Habit stacking.
But it really does, man. It becomes like like just second nature, right?
Yeah.
Which is really cool because I was not that guy. I'd sit on that couch at 6 o'clock until midnight. Now, 7:30, walk the dogs. That's another 3,000 steps. 10 p.m., depending how they're acting, might take them back out, get another 1,000 in. So it's really helped out with that discipline and planning.
So you said you had been kind of like lazy and a little lethargic before. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So, I don't know, too crazy on the video. I'm a short guy and I'm chunky, right? So, I was 5'6.5", 5'7", and I was pushing like 250, So I think naturally when you're that much overweight, I think your body just naturally, and you're not eating right, and you're not eating consistently, you're just naturally lethargic. I was tired. I was getting poor sleep because I would eat late at night, and then the energy would kick in. So at 2 o'clock, I'm up. 4 o'clock. So it was really just not eating the right stuff, extremely overweight. And that's what kind of started it, man. I think I told you, I was at a concert with a bunch of friends. We did like a guys' weekend to Pittsburgh. It was a concert and the Phillies game and all this other stuff. Go Phil. And right? For some, I love them. We were on this bridge, and it was me and my 3 buddies. And they're all kind of thin and in shape, and there was me. And I was like, oh my. Like, it wasn't just the weight. Like, you looked at it, it was awful. It was like I came home on a mission.
And what led to that, out of curiosity? Was it just, it fell on your priority list, or what happened?
Yeah, I think excuses, man. Like, I think
Excuses.
Yeah, just being lazy. To be honest with you, it was I'll start tomorrow, or it was I like this. I'll have a cheesesteak today, and I'll deal with it tomorrow. It was always tomorrow or Monday, and then Thursday would come. Now you're later in the week, so you had a couple beers for the week. Oh, I'll start on Monday. Well, Monday never came. And my wife was going to the gym. My 2 kids were going to the gym, and I was the only one that was sitting on my butt.
True.
Eating popcorn and Doritos, man. And, and when your kids see that too, even though they're extremely athletic and all, like, it's just a bad show.
And so, a lot of guys will share that with me. And obviously most of my clients are a bit older than me, and they'll say, hey, the things that used to work for me aren't working for me anymore. So were there certain things you'd tried before kind of the approach we went with that maybe didn't work as well for you, or maybe worked for a little bit, then backfired? What had you done?
Yeah. So the most recent thing was keto. That keto diet, you do lose the weight.
Sure.
But within a couple weeks, I didn't even go crazy. And most of it came right back, right? So
and I felt like shit on keto when I did it.
Yeah, like it's weird. In a week or two of clarity or something, and then it makes you I didn't feel good.
That's exactly how it went with me.
Yeah, it was a weight loss drop only. And what's crazy about that is there was no workout component to it, right? So it was just pure diet. And I would say for anything I'm about to mention, it was pure diet. No activity, right? No steps, no nothing, no weightlifting. It was just literally diet. So keto was one. Then I tried on my own to cut down to a certain number, like 1,500 calories, like randomly chose that number.
That's another one people do for sure.
Yeah, without thinking like, well, why 1,500? You're like, oh, sounds good.
Yeah. Nice round number.
Yeah, nice round number. It's easy. And well, then you're starving. And what happens is after a couple of weeks, for me, a month, you're just deprived of all the nutrients and things that I need. So I would just crush junk on the weekends. And then another thing I did was I'd go really hard for 5 or 6 days, Jimmy, and then I have a cheat day. And that cheat day destroyed me. I mean, you saw a couple of weeks ago, right? When I had a cheat day and I'm like, damn, man, my weight was off. My food was off. I'm like, oh. So,
but the difference is you just said next play and you got right back on the next day.
yeah, and it worked out well. Right. But,
Yeah, no guilt.
no, you got to have a life and all that. But, yeah, so just those are the kind of things I did, but
no, you hit on some good things, right? Because, you know, a lot of guys will hop into like overly restricted diets, 1,500 calories or whatever number they choose, keto, maybe intermittent fasting, which, you know, are all overly restrictive approaches, which often do lead to either binging every night and binging on the weekends, and then just like this yo-yo cycle. But then also without that resistance training, you're just going to lose muscle mass, not fat. You'll lose fat, but you're also going to lose a substantial amount of muscle. And if metabolism slows down, weight's going to come back. Yep. For sure. Happens every time.
Every time. You know, what's funny is it only took 20 some years to realize that, like, off and on, that fads don't work, man. It's just not. It
took me some time too. Don't beat yourself up. And I do this for a living. So
yeah, it's wild, man. Like, you know, and finally it's like, oh, you're turning 50, and you're like, oh, it doesn't work, you know? So yeah.
And so with the approach that we kind of took with you now that, seems to be working. What would you say were like the biggest unlocks for you, and what made it, you know, more sustainable, got these results coming along?
So I'll start with, you know, kind of go in the bucket, like food first, right?
Sure.
It's not restrictive. Like, you know, in some of those diets, you can't have this, you can't have that. This is cool because, like, you're getting my carb, I'm getting my vegetables, I'm getting my fruit. Like, I'm not depriving myself of a lot of stuff. If I know I'm going to have a heavy Sunday for a birthday, you know, you just kind of have a slice of cake. Like, you don't deprive yourself. So I think just the routine of the food, when, how, what to eat, you know, and just how that affects just your workouts, your energy, your sleep, which I never put two and two together, man. But like,
it's huge.
It's huge, right? Like, and the food you eat can really, really mess up that sleep pattern. The biggest one for me outside of that was working out. I haven't worked out in a long time. The first couple of weeks, you're like going to the gym. I'm that chubby guy. I'm sitting there and I'm feeling out of place. And now when I order, man, I at least in my eyes, I feel like a pro. Like, I walk in there, I work here, and I look forward to it. Like right now, today is a 5 o'clock workout day because I got a, you know, kind of busy day at work.
Sure.
But when I get there, I love it, man. I do my little 30-minute cardio just to kind of get things going. I knock out the weights. I love the weights because even my wife says it, like, you know, you just look, I don't know, man. You just look better. You feel better. And that's the thing I love the most. Not only forget the weight loss and all, I just feel better. Yeah, no, the workouts make me feel better. I went from the first couple of weeks, like, oh my God, I'm going to stick with this, to 4 months of vapor. You look forward to it. And
now you're lifting on vacation.
Yeah. I'm telling you, from where I was, I'm like, what do I do with this equipment? Boy, we're going to work out. I'm like, I would never do that. I get up, I drink, we have fun. I'm like, we're not going out that little safari thing until I get my workout in, you know, so.
Yeah, it's like brushing your teeth for me, at least, you know, it feels weird when you don't do it.
Yeah. And like I said, if people that knew me aren't going to be like, oh my God, you're ripped, but they see the weight loss. They see some toning now, which is great. A new workout we've been doing with that push-pull the past couple of weeks. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah. It's killing me, man. Like when I'm there, I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm like 4 supersets today. I'm like, no way. But I love it. You know, so the working out, you know, it's kind of re-energized me for really looking forward to the workout. Yeah. You know, like when I don't get it in, or if I have to change, like I did yesterday, I had to change my Monday to today, I get a little bummed out. So,
yeah, it's a funny paradox, right? You got to expend energy to get energy.
Yeah, it's wild. And if I don't work out that day, I still feel good. But I look forward to that. Like if you get done at 7 o'clock or 2 o'clock, whatever your workout's done,
sure,
driving home, you know, it's just, you just feel I'm ready. So I think the food and how it affects everything, and how to eat without killing yourself with just boring foods. 2, it's the workout. And then I think the third thing is just overall, like just everything. We put in what we're doing for this program, the sleep patterns, my mood, relationships, the stress. You know, I stressed out over little stuff because everything was bothering me. Now you just start to see it. Everything, I still get stressed out from time to time, but even now, like I'm looking at different things like you put out there on meditation and stuff like that. So like once you get the core concepts down, you start to dwindle into, okay, maybe mindfulness is something I want to check out there. And it's the same thing. Do it for a day. I'm like, I feel weird just sitting here, man. But then like a month later, you're like, I like my 10 minutes of just that.
Yeah.
So, they were kind of, it's just a refocus, not just, I think what? Everyone focuses on weight loss, period.
Yeah.
This thing has gotten me thinking about the overall, man. Like, weight loss is part of it, working out, but I just want to be healthy. And I think
man.
First met, I want to be around for the kids. I want to do stuff. And when they get older, I don't want to be that guy in oxygen and a wheelchair, man. I want to be hanging. So
100%.
Just feeling good, man. Really.
Obviously, you're talking about, feeling a little bit more tone, getting that energy back in the gym, feeling better overall. But tell us about like the actual kind of numbers. So you started around like 250, you said?
Yeah. I was just shy, man. I was, I think I weighed in, it was either 249.5 or 250,
Yeah.
And where are you now?
As of this morning, 224.5. I'm looking for the nice sustainable weight loss, right?
Yeah, and you're still cruising a pound and a half a week on average past few weeks. Cruising.
Yeah. And again, I'll ask you, I'll be like, hey, man, because in the first month, you just lose. I mean, I lost so much weight.
Yeah, you lose a lot of water.
A lot of water. And you start to think maybe that is supposed to happen all the time. That's why I texted you last night. I'm like, hey, man, am I stalled? And you're like, no. And you're like, did you look at this? I'm like, I didn't look at that date. I was just wondering what I did. And, but yeah, so I'm down about 26 pounds. And listen, man, am I ripped and everything? No, I just feel better. My wife said to me last night, like, you kind of go from the belly to like now the side. And she's like, you can even see your side just starting to trim out a little bit.
Yeah.
I have the roll at the bottom there, but it's getting smaller and smaller. And, if I can do a pound a week, man, and I think our goal was 190 over whatever time.
Yeah.
That's with me, man. That's another thing too, is I want the rush.
Yeah, there's two important educational pieces that you kind of hit on there. First is kind of rate. Guys will have that big first week where they lose like 5-7 pounds, and then they just want that going forward. I'm like, dude, that was water. Like,
yeah.
You lost probably a pound and a half, 2 pounds of fat. That's great. That's the most you want to lose per week. Otherwise, you're just losing a ton of muscle, slowing down your metabolism, setting yourself up for rebound, right? And then the second thing is where that fat gets lost. As men, we're typically going to lose the fat like in the face and the chin first, and then the chest, then the sides, then the upper belly, then that lower belly. So you're seeing that happen right now, which is awesome.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, man, this was a freaking fantastic interview. I think, you gave a lot of game to anybody watching this. I think it's going to be super helpful. And so I got one more question for you. And so it's like, okay, so whether it was 4 months or however long ago, if you were to rewind and give that version of yourself advice, what would you tell to that person, not only in terms of like, maybe what they should be doing, but maybe even more importantly, how they should be thinking about things, maybe excuses you were talking about. What advice would you give that version of yourself?
I think I would just say, like, one, you got to be committed. You're right. Just don't half-ass it, man. If you're going to half-ass it, just wait, because I think like everything you do in life, but especially when it comes to this, you got to be all in. Two, it sounds so cliche, but trust the process. Like when you and I did the uptick, we went off of the reduction back to like that 4 to 6 week period where I was
the reverse diet.
Yeah, we talked. I'm like, oh man, I like the losing the weight part, and you'll question it. You just,
for sure.
So my second advice would be just trust the actual process of what you're going through. There's going to be bits and pieces that I didn't understand. 3 is just educate the hell out of yourself. Like, I love your learning center. I do stuff on my own. I read a lot of good dialogue on medicines and other stuff that the chat and all the guys are talking about. So, and I also think for like when you go to do it, get involved, man. Don't be the quiet guy. Sometimes like I get quiet because of work and all, but when Manny, all the other guys are going back and forth and chatting, it's just good stuff, so be part of the group. But I would just say, stay committed, trust the process. Yeah, and it'll all work out. Just be committed to it.
And what advice would you have of getting out of that half-ass mindset? Because, you were talking about how you were kind of in a mindset of just tomorrow.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just takes a decision where it's like, no, today. So like, what advice would you give to yourself to get yourself out of the half-ass, the tomorrow mindset and actually draw a line in the sand?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was just seeing the pictures and feeling a certain way. And then, that was really it. But I would just, same thing, that first step, like get off your couch and just go for a block walk, man. Like that first step, that first diet, that first food bill that you change up everything. Just, you got to take that first step. Stop the excuses, man. You have to get out there You have to just take the first step, even if it's small. You just got to do it. Go for a 1/4 mile walk. Go for
So true.
just do something. So I would just
Even smaller is better sometimes.
yeah. Like don't and that's another thing too. Like I didn't go in thinking I was going to bench press 2,000 pounds, man. You know, like I mean, I think I put my first numbers in. I'm like it's weak, but I think if you're like, oh, do I watch a game and eat popcorn today? And then I'll play a David Goggins video and something like, and I just hear he'll be like, get off your ass, So it's just stuff like that, man.
That's funny, man.
Just have to do it.
That's funny. Well, that's a great ending note, and I really appreciate your time. This was freaking awesome, Dave. I really appreciate you.
No, awesome. I appreciate you guys, and like I said, it's been a fun journey. Learned a lot, and we still got some more time to go, man. So
Let's get it. Let's get it.
All right, Jimmy.
Go Phils.
Yeah, man. We'll see. Start this. I think this weekend, right, or the 4th.
Something like that. All right. Take it easy. Cheers.
See you, man.